his goals. While in prison, he began writing to their leader, Elijah Muhammad. He joined the movement and took the name Malcolm X. This was a common practice among NOI members. Many African Americans had inherited their last names from slave owners. The X was a rejection of that legacy. It also represented a broken link to their African roots. They could never really know their real names or larger family history. Taking pride in their African heritage was a big part of NOI teachings. After his release from prison, Malcolm X became a champion of these ideas. He gave fiery speeches promoting black nationalism. He also criticized mainstream civil rights leaders' message of tolerance and harmony. It made little sense when African Americans were being abused and killed. Eventually, Malcolm X was featured in a news program about the Nation of Islam. He said the NOI didn't want to improve relations between the races, and that whites were corrupt and murderous. The show shocked its national audience. Some saw the anti-white sentiment as its own form of bigotry, but plenty of African Americans felt the NOI was finally giving them a voice. Membership doubled in the weeks following the broadcast. Malcolm X helped take them from a small group to a national movement. He even inspired the world's most famous athlete, boxer Muhammad Ali, to join. But as the media attention grew, so did tension within the NOI. Elijah Muhammad began to see Malcolm's popularity as a threat, and Malcolm began to question NOI leadership. He split from the Nation of Islam in 1964. He converted to the Sunni sect of the religion and set off on a pilgrimage to Mecca. This journey to the birthplace of Islam is a rite of passage for Muslims. In Saudi Arabia, he saw people of all races worshiping together. On a trip to Africa, he saw white students caring for the sick and needy. Malcolm began to see the plight of black Americans from a new perspective. Unfortunately, he would have few chances to share his new outlook. He was assassinated less than a year after his journey to Mecca. It's widely assumed he was murdered by agents of the Nation of Islam. Revenge for Malcolm's criticism of Elijah Muhammad. Malcolm's views had softened in the last year of his life, but he never came around to King's focus on peaceful demonstration. He was more in touch with folks' frustrations than their sense of hope. A big part of his appeal was that he provided an outlet for this anger. I'm sure that's partly why there's no national holiday for him, like Martin Luther King Day. Hold on, what are you writing? You can't just use what I said in your Malcolm X report. Have you learned nothing from our plagiarism movie?
Okay. So how do you want me just to get out of this and
Just turn off the Chromecast. Yeah, I'll do the rest.
okay. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna come up to the front. You're gonna get a computer, get your computer, and one of the packets, the reading packets. Okay, we'll start with these two rows.
You go to Google Classroom?
Huh?
You go to Google Classroom?
Google Classroom, yeah, go to Google Classroom. We'll probably do the reading. We'll probably be working on it again tomorrow. Okay, middle two rows. Middle two rows. The last two rows. Okay. So you're gonna want to go into your Google Classroom. you're gonna go into Google Classroom, and there's gonna be this worksheet right here. In the Google Docs. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna read on the first ones, you're gonna read the introduction, the Malcolm X bibliography information, and the Martin Luther King bibliography information.
Can we write on this?
If you want to, you can. And then there's gonna be a document J. You'll read the content notes, and then you'll read the little phrase. It's a little speech that King gave. And then you'll read document J. You'll read the content notes, and then you'll read the little comment from Malcolm X. Does everybody understand that? Okay. Okay. We'll go over this first question together. It says, why were Malcolm X and Martin Luther King at the United States Capitol building on March 26, 1964? It's right there at the beginning of the introduction. Can anybody tell me why they were at the Capitol building on 26th of March, 64? Because it says right there in the very first paragraph, it says on March 26, 1964, Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X met for the first time, the only occasion for the first and only time. The occasion was a Senate debate on the passage of the landmark Civil Rights Bill. So that would be your answer to number one. And then all the rest are just gonna be like that. They're gonna come out of the readings.
Did you send me the one, Rush?
Huh? Oh. Did everybody pick up one of the packets?
What did you send me the one?
Huh?
What did you send me the one? Oh.
What was the answer for number one, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, they met because it was for a Senate debate on the civil rights bill.
If you have any questions, raise your hand. Oh. Yeah, one big thing to remember is that Malcolm X and Martin Luther King both had different views on how to go at civil rights. You know, Martin Luther King thought, you know, it was best to try to do it through nonviolence. Malcolm X had a little different view. He was more towards violence.
So, these numbers are just for.
No, these are just the numbers in the paragraph. Well, you could look, it might, like that one, number 2 might be in that paragraph. But really, the number two is actually for 2 events in both of their lives. So you just it could be in both, there could be 2 events in Martin Luther King's bibliography and then 2 events in Malcolm X's bibliography that help shape their lives. Yeah, the numbers on the writing, they don't correspond to the numbers on the questions. That's just, he numbered each paragraph. Yeah, I think everybody's. Like here in number 2, it says identify 2 events from Malcolm's life that you think may have shaped his beliefs in the philosophy by any means necessary. So pretty much what you're gonna do is you're gonna find 2 events in his bibliography that shaped his life, that shaped his belief. And then number 3 is the same way. Like one of Malcolm X's, remember when they talked about in Ray talked about how his father died when he was at a young age and he ended up dropping out of school? Well, that would be a good one for that one. That'd be a good event. No, but give me a little bit of a brief description too of why you think it shaped his view, belief.
And then when they're done, they just share it, right?
Give me 1 second and then I'll put that.
Yeah, and for number 7, there's a couple of words in there that he's got highlighted. Those are links. Like if you don't understand what the 2 words are, you can click on the links and it'll tell you what, it'll give you a definition for those words.
Remember what you were.
I have a question.
Can't find number 2. Well, one of the ones for number 2, like I said, is one of the things that shaped his view is the death of his father. And then you just read through. You just read through the bibliography and kind of just find some couple events in his life that you think helped shape his view or his belief. Because, like in the brain pop, he talks about how his father died of a strange situation. They don't know how he. They don't know how he died. There's rumors that he was murdered and stuff. And don't forget, when you're finished, don't forget to share it. To share the document.
There's a turn button.
Go upstairs if you have the chair.